The amazing weight loss journeys of the morbidly obese individuals documented in the American reality television series My 600 Pound Life has inspired many of its viewers. It was also the reason why it's been one of the most watched TV series on the TLC network. And in particular, those who have been deemed inoperable by other surgeons were welcomed by the medical team headed by Dr. Younan Nowzaradan. Other doctors couldn't be blamed for their reluctance. After all, the risk percentage is very high, as most of these people weighed more than 600 pounds, and some even reached up to 900 pounds, over 400 kilograms. And if anything went wrong during pre-treatment, the operation, or even afterwards, where is the blame laid? The premise for the series began with a story around a morbidly obese woman, Renee Williams, who weighed about 840 pounds. The TV production company Media Inc. filmed a documentary about her search for help for the right doctor who's willing to help her with her condition, led her to Dr. Nowzaradan back in 2010. At that time, most other surgeons didn't want to touch her because of the complications and the severity of her situation. Her eventual weight loss surgery was successful, but her heart was in really bad shape, such that she died 2 weeks later. Her family was quite satisfied with how Megalomania handled the filming, saying, with the way the production team take care of Renee, and to show their appreciation, they gave the company sole distribution rights to the documentary, called World's Heaviest Woman, later changed to Half-Ton Mom. Megalomania pitched the documentary to the TLC network, which was immediately picked up by the cable channel, and when aired, it generated overwhelming interest from viewers, and inspired TLC to make the documentary series on the topic of weight loss, entitled Last Chance to Live, which eventually became My 600 Pound Life. The TV series premiered on the 1st of February 2012 and is now in its 10th season. Each season, the TV series provides help for individuals willing to undergo weight loss treatment. Not all were able to pursue their personal goals, but most succeeded in achieving a better life for themselves. Some of the stories ended tragically, even with the help of experts. In the span of 10 seasons, the show helped around 125 people to lose weight successfully through rehabilitation and bariatric surgery. The man behind the successful, life-changing transformations in My 600 Pound Life was the same surgeon, Dr. Younan Nowzaradan, who had operated on Renee Williams. It so happened that the good doctor was the father of Joseph Nowzaradan, who was, at the time, the president of the Megalomania Inc. When the studio company decided to continue producing documentaries on the weight loss journeys of the morbidly obese, they partnered with Dr. Nowzaradan, who was fondly called Dr. Now by his patients. The Iranian-born surgeon with Assyrian ancestry was initially a heart surgeon. He finished his medical degree at the University of Tehran and traveled to the US for a surgical internship at St. John Hospital in Detroit. He also had a 4-year residency at St. Thomas Hospital in Nashville, and his cardiovascular fellowship was done at the Texas Heart Institute in Houston, to which he was invited by Dr. Denton Cooley, who was famous for being the first person to perform artificial heart surgery on a living person. Dr. Now never left Houston after that and established a clinic there. For some reason, he switched from doing cardiovascular surgery to becoming a weight loss expert, and was the first Houston surgeon to use the advantages of laparoscopic techniques for other medical surgeries. He specialized in laparoscopic bariatric surgery and also went on to offer post-bypass corrective surgery to his patients who needed the removal of excess skin. His amazing skills led him to become a champion for those who needed weight loss procedures, most of whom had been rejected by other doctors. However, his no-nonsense approach required his patients to follow his strict instructions, as he made them accountable for their actions. He didn't take any excuses from his patients, but he always gave them options. The medical reality TV series My 600 Pound Life became the platform in which those persons with a body mass index or BMI of 40 and above could freely gain access to bariatric procedures such as gastric bypass, sleeve gastrectomy, and gastric banding. Dr. Now didn't ask for any professional service fee from those patients participating in the series, saying that while he needed to make a living, it didn't mean he would get it from just about anybody who sought his skills. So, who have been the heaviest contestants before and after surgery who have participated in the series? Here are the top 4 biggest patients featured. When the 4th season aired, viewers were immediately drawn to the story of Sean Milken. At that time, he was the heaviest person to be featured in the TV show in its entirety. He came in weighing 919 pounds. His weight problem started when he was about 10 years old, when his parents divorced and he was left in his father's care, and with whom he had a difficult relationship, so used food to make himself feel better. His mother eventually took him from his father, but to make up for lost time, she indulged Sean and actually worsened his food addiction. At the time Sean began filming for My 600 Pound Life, he was 26 years old and had become highly dependent on his mother because his knees were unable to support his body. Standing up for more than 30 seconds was difficult. He needed oxygen to help him breathe properly. Having his mother as his enabler meant that he didn't qualify for the weight loss surgery because he couldn't lose the required weight. In fact, even after he received his new diet plan, he blew up to 1,003 pounds. The doctor had him admitted to the hospital to monitor him, which helped him lose about 260 pounds. However, when he was released back into his mother's care, he quickly regained 50 pounds, so the doctor recommended sessions with a psychiatrist for both him and his mother. It worked, and eventually he lost more than 360 pounds, which qualified him for gastric bypass surgery. He actually lost 455 pounds, but when he returned home, he easily regained weight. For the next couple of years, his mother continued to indulge him, so his weight would go up when he was at home, and then down when he was actually admitted to the hospital. In his third year as Dr. Now's patient, Sean's mother passed away, which he couldn't handle well, so that his weight ballooned up to 766 pounds. He was again admitted to the hospital, but an infection took his life, as his heart couldn't handle the stress that came with it. He was 29 years old when he died, on the 17th of February 2019. When Samantha Mason initially featured in the 9th season of My 600 Pound Life, she was the heaviest person on the weighing scale of Dr. Now's, with 940 pounds. She became one of the most controversial individuals in the show because she was an online fetish model who earned money by uploading videos of herself gorging on food. Samantha received a lot of hate comments on social media due to what she called her line of work. She struggled with weight, but when she finally realized that she could very well die because of it, she participated in the TV show, seeking Dr. Now's help. Like most of the patients in her show, her weight loss struggle started when she was a little kid, when, after her parents divorced, she turned to food for comfort. For a time, she stayed with her dad and stepmother, who tried to restrict her alarming food intake. Due to their family dynamics, she hated it when they controlled her food addiction, and so, during her visits with her mother, she was indulged and could eat whatever she wanted. She was over 300 pounds when she was 12 years old. At 17 years of age, she dropped out of school, was pregnant, and weighed over 500 pounds when she had her baby. A tragic motorcycle accident took her father's life, which contributed to her weight gain, as she'd become closer to him that year after he'd apologized for being drunk, mean, and violent over all those years. Depressed, she again turned to food to make herself feel better. During her time on the show, Dr. Now monitored her through video calls because she was in Colorado and his hospital was in Houston. She was initially admitted to the Colorado hospital weighing close to 1,000 pounds, but she needed to do something with her food intake before it was too late. She had a hard time losing the required weight and needed immediate medical intervention, or she probably wouldn't last for another month. Since Dr. Now couldn't take care of her personally in Colorado, he asked one of his colleagues based there, Dr. Haydari, to perform a gastric sleeve surgery on her as a last-ditch effort to keep Samantha from overeating. 3 months after her surgery, she was down to 638 pounds and eventually lost around 480 pounds in total, which was the biggest weight loss in the history of My 600 Pound Life. And she survived. In the 4th episode of the 8th season of My 600 Pound Life, Julius J.T. Clark was introduced to the viewers, weighing in at 892 pounds. Before he stepped onto Dr. Now's weighing scale, he thought he was 600 to 700 pounds, and it shocked him to find out that he was just 8 pounds away from being 900 pounds. Despite his weight, he could still stand, take a bath, and prepare his food. But he depended highly on his girlfriend Jessica for the other things he needed in his life. He developed a food addiction when he turned to food for comfort whenever he wasn't feeling good about his life when growing up. JT stopped going to school when he couldn't fit into the chair anymore and worked in a fast food restaurant to earn his keep, but was let go when he grew bigger. The reason for that isn't difficult to pinpoint. To meet Dr. Now, JT traveled with Jessica from Claymore, Oklahoma to Houston, Texas. He had a hard time sitting on the floor in the back of a car, from where the seats had been removed. Aside from his weight problem, he was also diagnosed with lymphedema on his left leg in 2008, which grew so big that it weighed about 100 pounds. The doctor told him that removing it would be difficult at that time, but if he lost weight, it would be somewhat easier to remedy the situation. Dr. Now required JT to lose 150 pounds to qualify for the weight loss surgery. And with his lymphedema becoming infected, he was advised to stay in Houston to avoid traveling back and forth from Claymore. Jessica soon broke up with him, which didn't surprise the viewers, considering what they'd seen of the way he treated her in the past. JT then spent a few months in a rehabilitation center to help him lose weight, but had a difficult time there, and wasn't losing as much weight as was expected of him, mostly because of his attitude. Eventually he changed, was released from rehab, and moved to a shared home in Houston, with Dr. Now telling him to be less than 600 pounds at his scheduled appointment. JT was disappointed when he weighed 619 pounds when he saw the doctor, but Dr. Now saw his effort and approved the weight loss surgery. He lost a total of 400 pounds, and Dr. Now was impressed, saying that he might be far away from his personal goal of 220 pounds, but if he reached 450 pounds, then he would have his lymphedema removed. JT continued working and losing the weight. One of the most tragic moments in My 600-Pound Life was the death of Robert Bushell of Fork, New Jersey, while he was filming for the 6th season of the TV show. When he was weighed in for the first time in Dr. Now's clinic, he was 842 pounds, about 380 kilograms. Aside from his obesity, he was also taking too many painkillers without realizing that he was already addicted to them. To ensure that he would qualify for weight loss surgery, his addiction to painkillers was addressed in the hospital, and plans were also made to remove his lymphedema. Unsurprisingly, Robert's weight problem had started when he was a kid. His eating habits changed because he had an unlimited food source when his parents opened up a fast food chicken restaurant. But he also considered himself some sort of an outcast because he was born with a club foot and he had hearing problems. His mother said that he never had a great relationship with his brothers growing up because he was sickly, and that the other sons were probably jealous of all the extra care she gave Robert. His weight problem was worsened when he was molested by another boy who lived near him. The molester said that he'd kill Robert if he told anyone about it. He turned to food for comfort, and since his parents were quite busy with their business, they never realized what had happened to him. During a stay in the hospital with his fiancée Catherine, he followed the entire diet plan that Dr. Now made for him. He was down to 625 pounds, and the doctor was impressed with his weight loss progress. He was transferred to the rehabilitation center so he could do more exercises to help him build his stamina to qualify for the removal of his lymphedema. He did all that he was supposed to do, and so had his surgery. Without the lymphedema masses, he lost even more weight, and he was close to 500 pounds. However, after the surgery, he was quite depressed and lost the will to do his exercise routine. He wanted painkillers, but the doctors refused him because he didn't need them anymore. There was a time when he even ripped the stitches just so he'd be given those pills. He tried very hard to battle his addiction, but his body gave up on him. On the 15th of November 2017, he passed away due to a heart attack, having told Catherine he believed that he wouldn't last the night and how much he loved her. TLC's My 600-Pound Life may not be for everyone. The show was criticized for airing footage that some deemed unsuitable for showing to the public. Some viewers thought it exploited the situation for those obese individuals, which may be true, but the reality TV series also helped to spread awareness about the dangers of food addiction, drug addiction, and inadvertently becoming enablers to those struggling with their weight. While not all the weight loss journeys that were documented in the show ended on a good note, it's been identified as inspiring the morbidly obese to seek help from the right people, knowing that they could have a quality life ahead of them if they are willing to do something about it.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.